Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A small sharp pointed tip resembling a spike on a stem or leaf. The series of vertebrae forming the axis of the skeleton and protecting the spinal cord. Any sharply pointed projection. The part of a book's cover that encloses the inner side of the book's pages and that faces outward when the book is shelved. The title and author were printed on the spine of the book. A sharp rigid animal process or appendage, as a porcupine quill or a ridge on a bone or a ray of a fish fin. An awl for making small holes for brads or small screws. A small sharp pointed tip resembling a spike on a stem or leaf. Cause a stinging or tingling sensation. A small sharp pointed tip resembling a spike on a stem or leaf. Make a small hole into, as with a needle or a thorn. Cause a prickling sensation. A small sharp pointed tip resembling a spike on a stem or leaf. A small sharp pointed tip resembling a spike on a stem or leaf. A short knife with a pointed blade used for piercing or stabbing. An adhesive label. A particularly difficult or baffling question or problem. A small sharp pointed tip resembling a spike on a stem or leaf. Something that causes irritation and annoyance. He's a thorn in my flesh. A Germanic character of runic origin. A support that you can lean against while sitting. The back of the dental chair was adjustable. Give support or one's approval to. I can't back this plan. Establish as valid or genuine. Can you back up your claims? The side that goes last or is not normally seen. He wrote the date on the back of the photograph. The protective covering on the front, back, and spine of a book. The series of vertebrae forming the axis of the skeleton and protecting the spinal cord. The fall broke his back. The posterior part of a human, or animal, body from the neck to the end of the spine. His back was nicely tanned. In or to or toward a pastime. Set the clocks back an hour. Place a bet on. Which horse are you backing? Be behind. Approve of. I backed Kennedy in 1960. Located at or near the back of an animal. Back, or hind, legs. The part of something that is furthest from the normal viewer. He stood at the back of the stage. At or to or toward the back or rear. He moved back. American football. The position of a player on a football team who is stationed behind the line of scrimmage. Be in back of. My garage backs their yard. Cause to travel backward. Back the car into the parking spot. Football. A person who plays in the backfield. Of an earlier date. Back issues of the magazine. Related to or located at the back. The backyard. Shift to a counterclockwise direction. The wind backed. Strengthen by providing with a back or backing. Support financial backing for. Back this enterprise. The part of a garment that covers the back of your body. They pinned a "kick me" sign on his back. travel backward. Back into the driveway. The series of vertebrae forming the axis of the skeleton and protecting the spinal cord. Fortitude and determination. A central cohesive source of support and stability. The part of a book's cover that encloses the inner side of the book's pages and that faces outward when the book is shelved. The part of a network that connects other networks together. The backbone is the part of a communication network that carries the heaviest traffic. The series of vertebrae forming the axis of the skeleton and protecting the spinal cord. Axis of a compound leaf or compound inflorescence. The series of vertebrae forming the axis of the skeleton and protecting the spinal cord. The series of vertebrae forming the axis of the skeleton and protecting the spinal cord. Any sharply pointed projection. Give heart or courage to. A verbalization that encourages you to attempt something. A sharp prod fixed to a rider's heel and used to urge a horse onward. Cowboys know not to squat with their spurs on. A railway line connected to a trunk line. Any sharply pointed projection. Equip with spurs. Spur horses. Goad with spurs. The rider spurred his horse. Incite or stimulate. The academy was formed to spur research. Strike with a spur. Tubular extension at the base of the corolla in some flowers. A sharp pointed process, especially a sting of a hymenopterous insect. A stiff sharp pointed plant process. Any structure created by the skeleton of an organism. The acoustic phenomenon that gives sound a penetrating quality. Our ukuleles have been designed to have superior sound and projection. A planned undertaking. The act of expelling or projecting or ejecting. The act of projecting out from something. Any solid convex shape that jets out from something. Any structure that branches out from a central support. A prediction made by extrapolating from past observations. Psychiatry. A defense mechanism by which your own traits and emotions are attributed to someone else. The projection of an image from a film onto a screen. The representation of a figure or solid on a plane as it would look from a particular direction. The effort contributed by a person in bringing about a result. The actions and activities assigned to or required or expected of a person or group. The government must do its part. To some extent, in some degree, not wholly. I felt partly to blame. Assets belonging to or due to or contributed by an individual person or group. A portion of a natural object. They analyzed the river into 3 parts. Something less than the whole of a human artifact. The rear part of the house. One of the portions into which something is regarded as divided and which together constitute a whole. The written part of the exam. Discontinue an association or relation. Go different ways. The business partners broke over a tax question. The melody carried by a particular voice or instrument in polyphonic music. He tried to sing the tenor part. Force, take, or pull apart. Moses parted the Red Sea. An item that is an instance of some type. My dog swallowed a Lego part. A line of scalp that can be seen when sections of hair are combed in opposite directions. His part was right in the middle. Leave. The extended spatial location of something. Religions in all parts of the world. Go one's own way. Move apart. The friends separated after the party. Something determined in relation to something that includes it. He wanted to feel a part of something bigger than himself. An actor's portrayal of someone in a play. She played the part of Desdemona. Come apart. That which concerns a person with regard to a particular role or situation. It requires vigilance on our part. An individual quantity of food or drink taken as part of a meal. His portion was larger than hers. Assets belonging to or due to or contributed by an individual person or group. Something less than the whole of a human artifact. The allotment of some amount by dividing something. Money or property brought by a woman to her husband at marriage. Give out. Your overall circumstances or condition in life, including everything that happens to you. Success that was her portion. Something determined in relation to something that includes it. I read a portion of the manuscript. A natural prolongation or projection from a part of an organism, either animal or plant. The gradual beginning or coming forth. A natural consequence of development. A natural prolongation or projection from a part of an organism, either animal or plant. An external body part that projects from the body. A part that is joined to something larger. A natural prolongation or projection from a part of an organism, either animal or plant. A bony process. A writ issued by authority of law usually compels the defendant's attendance in a civil suit. Failure to appear results in a default judgment against the defendant. Shape, form, or improve a material. Process iron. Deliver a warrant or summons to someone. He was processed by the sheriff. A sustained phenomenon or one marked by gradual changes through a series of states. Events now in process. Institute legal proceedings against. File a suit against. He was warned that the district attorney would process him. March in a procession. They processed into the dining room. A particular course of action intended to achieve a result. It was a process of trial and error. Psychology. The performance of some composite cognitive activity. An operation that affects mental contents. The process of thinking. A mental process that you are not directly aware of. The process of denial. Subject to a process or treatment, with the aim of readying for some purpose, improving, or remedying a condition. Process cheese. Deal with in a routine way. Process alone. Perform mathematical and logical operations on data, according to programmed instructions in order to obtain the required information. The results of the elections were still being processed when he gave his acceptance speech. A barbed spine or bristle, often tufted on cacti. A barbed spine or bristle, often tufted on cacti. Backbone of an animal. Cut of meat or fish including at least part of the backbone. cut through the backbone of an animal. A flexible rod-like structure that forms the supporting axis of the body in the lowest chordates and lowest vertebrates and in embryos of higher vertebrates. A group of nearly parallel lines of electromagnetic radiation. A column of light, as from a beacon. Extend or spread outward from a center or focus or inward towards a center. Exposed to radiation. The syllable naming the second, supertonic, note of any major scale in psalmization. A branch of an umbel or an umbelliform inflorescence. Any of the stiff bony spines in the fin of a fish. Cartilaginous fishes having horizontally flattened bodies and enlarged wing-like pectoral fins with gills on the underside. Most swim by moving the pectoral fins. Emit as rays. That tower rays a laser beam for miles across the sky. Mathematics. A straight line extending from a point. The hollow spine of a feather. Pen made from a bird's feather. Any of the larger wing or tail feathers of a bird. A stiff hollow protective spine on a porcupine or hedgehog. The part of the skeleton that includes the skull and spinal column and sternum and ribs. Physical objects consisting of a number of pages bound together. The property of something that is great in magnitude. The volume of exports. The magnitude of sound, usually in a specified direction. The kids played their music at full volume. A publication that is one of a set of several similar publications. The third volume was missing. A relative amount. Mix 1 volume of the solution with 10 volumes of water. The amount of three-dimensional space occupied by an object. The gas expanded to twice its original volume. Physical objects consisting of a number of pages bound together. He used a large book as a doorstop. A record in which commercial accounts are recorded. They got a subpoena to examine our books. The sacred writings of Islam revealed by God to the Prophet Muhammad during his life at Mecca and Medina. A compilation of the known facts regarding something or someone. His name is in all the record books. A written version of a play or other dramatic composition, used in preparing for a performance. The sacred writings of the Christian religions. A collection of rules or prescribed standards on the basis of which decisions are made. They run things by the book around here. Arrange for and reserve something for someone else in advance. The agent booked tickets to the show for the whole family. A collection of playing cards satisfying the rules of a card game. A major division of a long written composition. The Book of Isaiah. A number of sheets, ticket or stamps, etc., bound together on one edge. He bought a book of stamps. A written work or composition that has been published, printed on pages bound together. I am reading a good book on economics. Engage for a performance. Her agent had booked her for several concerts in Tokyo. Record a charge in a police register. The policeman booked her when she tried to solicit a man. Register in a hotel booker. The end of the vertebral column in humans and tailless apes.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.